Good morning, students. In this session, we will continue the human respiratory system. In previous class, what we have discussed is the lungs, how it is arranged in the humans. If you see the humans, right lung is little bit shorter than the right lung is little bit shorter than the left lung. So left lung is little bit longer and right lung is shorter. Why the right lung is shorter? Only one reason. What is that? Just below the right lung, liver is accommodated. Due to the reason of accommodation of liver just below the right lung, it is little bit shorter. In the right lung area, diaphragm is little bit higher in position. Only one reason, because of accommodation of liver only. The next one, in between the lungs, heart is present. What is the location of the lung is the location of heart is the mediastinum. Present between the lungs. Here the left lung is concavity is there. In that concavity only heart is accommodated. Left lung concavity is observed. In this concavity only heart accommodated. What is that location of the heart is the mediastinum. Mediastinum. In this location, the heart is accommodated. The next one, if you see the lungs in rabbit. Lungs in rabbit. Here in rabbit, as usually, right lung and left lung is present. Right lung and left lung is present. What are the lobes present in the right lung? Here it divides into the 4 lobes. Right lung divides into the 4 lobes. Left lung divides into the 2 lobes. What are that 4 lobes? First one is the anterior azygous lobe. Second one is the right anterior lobe. Then right posterior lobe. The last one is posterior azygous lobe. Azygous lobe. These are the 4 lobes we are observed in the rabbit. These 4 lobes are coming under right lung. What about that left lung? Left lung is 2 lobes only. What are that? Left anterior lobe, left posterior lobe. These are the 2 lobes we are observed in the rabbit. That is the importance of lungs arranged in the rabbit. After that, we see the diaphragm. So diaphragm is importance of diaphragm. See the diaphragm in the diagram. See the diaphragm in the diagram. This is a diaphragm. What is the importance of a diaphragm? The diaphragm divides the thoracic cavity and abdominal cavity. It divides thoracic cavity and abdominal cavity. What is the shape of the diaphragm? It is a dome shaped structure. It is a dome shaped structure. Peripherally, if you observe the diaphragm, which is made up of phrenic muscles. Peripherally, observe the diaphragm having the phrenic muscles. Centrally, if you see that, what is the muscles are there? Tendon. A tendon muscles are present. Now, in males, diaphragm play the major role during respiration. In males, play a major role during respiration. In females, if you are observed, rib cage play the major role. In females, rib cage play the major role. During respiration. That is the importance of the diaphragm. Next, we move to the mechanism of breathing in humans. If you see the mechanism of breathing, it is done in two ways. One is the positive pressure. Second one is the negative pressure. First, we need to discuss the positive pressure. What is a positive pressure? Atmospheric air is pushed by the pressure in the outside so that air is entered into the lungs. That is called as the positive pressure. The pressure pushes the atmospheric air into lungs. This is called as the positive pressure. The pressure pushes the air into the lungs. That is a positive pressure. Commonly, we are observed in the amphibians. Why this kind of pressure is we are observed? Due to the absence of diaphragm in the amphibians, external pressure, positive pressure is needed to push the air into the lungs. So here, what is the reason is, what is the cause of positive pressure is, diaphragm is absent. Due to the absence of diaphragm in these animals, positive pressure pushes the air from atmosphere into the lungs. The next one is the negative pressure. What is the importance of negative pressure? A pressure sucks the air into the lungs. Common example is mammals. Why it is happened? What is the cause of a pressure sucks the air into the lungs from atmosphere? What is the cause? Diaphragm is present here. Diaphragm is present. Due to the presence or absence of diaphragm, two types of pressures are helpful for the respiration. One is the positive pressure, another one is the negative pressure. Positive pressure means the outside pressure pushes the air into the lungs. Negative pressure means inside pressure sucks the air into the lungs. So, human beings are the examples under the negative pressure. The next one, breathing is also called as ventilation. Ventilation is done in two ways. One is the inspiration, another one is the expiration. It is also called, breathing also called ventilation. It is done in two ways. The first one is the, what is that? Inspiration. Inspiration is also called inhalation. Now, what is the inspiration? How the mechanism is done? You see the diagram. This is the lung. It is a lung. One of the lung. How the air is entered during the respiration. Here, thoracic cavity plays a major role. Thoracic cavity, diaphragm play the major role. First of all, this is the thoracic cavity. So, what are the parts involved in the inspiration? First one is the thoracic cavity. How the thoracic cavity is formed? Vertebral column present in dorsal side, ribs present in lateral sides, then sternum present in ventral side. See how the thoracic cavity is formed. The vertebral column present in the dorsal side. That is only we are called as backbone. Present in dorsal side. Then ribs present in lateral sides. Sternum present in the ventral side. All these things combined together form as a thoracic cavity or rib cage. Thoracic cavity or rib cage. The next one, diaphragm. As usually, this is the diaphragm, this is the rib cage. Diaphragm. Then third one is the, what are the muscles? External intercostal muscles. Intercostal muscles. And internal intercostal muscles. External intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles. These muscles are present in between the ribs. If you see that the ribs, these are the ribs and sternum here. In these ribs, in between the two ribs, what is there? External intercostal muscles and internal intercostal muscles are present. These are the, it is a rib cage surrounded by the lungs. How the rib cage or thoracic cavity is formed? Vertebral column, ribs and sternum combined together form as the thoracic cavity or rib cage. This is a diaphragm. We are observed in the just below the rib cage. We observe the diaphragm. External intercostal muscles and internal intercostal muscles both are present in between the ribs only. These are the ribs. In between the ribs we are observed. Now this is the, what is that? Vertebral column. It is the dorsal side, it is the ventral side, it is the posterior part, diaphragm is there. All these are surrounded by the lungs. Now, how the mechanism is done during the inspiration. These are the parts helpful for the inspiration. How these parts are helpful for inspiration. Now, diaphragm is, see the inspiration, how it is done. First, diaphragm is contracted. Diaphragm is contracted. Due to the contraction of diaphragm, it moves in a downward direction. What are the muscles are present in the diaphragm? Phrenic muscles. Phrenic muscles are contracted so that diaphragm is flattened. It moves in a downward direction, like this direction. Then, diaphragm is contracted so that what happened? Moves in downward direction. After that, diaphragm is contracted. External intercostal muscles are also contracted. External intercostal muscles also contracted. So that what happened? Ribs are moved in a sideward direction. That means the lateral directions. Ribs moved in sideward direction. Sternum moved in, what is that? Forward direction. That means the sternum present in the ventral side. Vertebral column present in dorsal side. So sternum moved in forward direction and ribs are moved in lateral directions. Due to the contraction of external intercostal muscles, what happened? Ribs moved in sideward direction. Sternum moved in forward direction. So what is that forward direction? The ventral side. The ventral side, it will be moved. Due to the contraction of diaphragm moved in downward direction. Contraction of external intercostal muscles present here. Ribs are moved in sideward direction. These are the ribs. They are moved in sideward direction like this. Then sternum also moved in, what is that? Ventral direction. These are the sideward direction, lateral direction of ribs. Sternum moved in, what is that? Ventral direction. So that what happened? Finally, the volume of the thoracic cavity is increases. What happened? Volume of Because of contraction of diaphragm and external intercostal muscles, what happened? Volume of thoracic cavity increases. Whenever the volume increases, thoracic cavity volume is increases, then what happened? The pressure present in the inside of the lungs is decreases. What is the pressure is? Intrapleural pressure. So the volume of thoracic cavity increases, then what happened? Intrapleural pressure is decreases. Intrapleural pressure is the meaning of intrapleural pressure? Pressure present in the lungs, inside of the lungs. How much it decreases? The pressure will be decreases. How much it decreases? When compared to the atmospheric pressure. That's why in the outside of the atmosphere, the pressure is more. Inside of the lungs is, the pressure is less. The intrapleural pressure is less and atmospheric pressure is more. Because of outside atmospheric pressure is more, inside intrapleural pressure is less, what happened? Air is easily entering into the lungs. Whenever the intrapleural pressure is decreases, atmospheric air is enter into lungs. This is only we are called as the inspiration. Then what about the expiration? How the expiration is done? Here, quite opposite done. Diaphragm is relaxed. Diaphragm is relaxed. So that it become as a dome shaped. In the inspiration, it is a flattened shape. Now it is a dome shape. That's why what happened? It moves in upward direction. Diaphragm is relaxed. That's why what happened? Diaphragm moves in upward direction. Then what happened? As usually, ribs and in between the ribs, external intercostal muscles are there. They are also relaxed. External intercostal muscles also relaxed. Due to that relaxation, what happened? Ribs are moved in a backward direction and sternum also moved in the backward direction. Both ribs and sternum moved in backward direction. That means they are come back into the original position. Whenever they are come back into the original position, what happened? The thoracic cavity size is decreases. So that the size of thoracic cavity decreases. then what happened? Because of the size of thoracic cavity decreases, the pressure present inside of the lungs is, what is that pressure is called as the intrapleural pressure. That intrapleural pressure is increases. How much it is increases? More than the atmospheric pressure. The pressure present in the lung is called as the intrapleural pressure. It is increased. Why it is increases? Because of the intrapleural pressure is increases. Why it is increases? Because thoracic cavity size is decreases. How much it is increases? More than the atmospheric pressure. So now atmospheric pressure is less and intrapleural pressure is more. Intrapleural pressure is more. So that what happened? Whatever the air present in the lungs, that is rushed out into the atmosphere, which is released into the atmosphere. Air is released into atmosphere. Size of the thoracic cavity decreases, hence intrapleural pressure increases than the atmospheric pressure. It leads to rushed out the air present in lungs into the atmosphere. It leads to air released into atmosphere from lungs. This is only we are called as what? Expiration. So very simple. During inspiration, diaphragm moved in downward direction, ribs and sternum moved in a forward direction. During expiration, diaphragm moved in a upward direction and ribs and sternum moved in a backward direction. So that what happened? Exchange of gases is done between the atmosphere and lungs. Thank you, students. Next session we will continue.